broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of the internet, welcome to the X-Ray and Vav after show right here, live on AFTERBUZZ TV. I'm your host, the internet, Soapbox Mark. You can find me on Twitter at Soapbox Mark. And joining me, two out of the rest of the three of the Rooster team here at AFTERBUZZ TV. We got Patrick Dees and Katie Cullen. Introduce yourselves to the fine people.
What is up, Mark? You can find me at P to the D's on Twitter.
Hi, all my buddies. You can find me on Twitter at Kiaxet, Kiaxet. And in the immortal words of Meatloaf, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
That's not bad at all. Yeah. And joining us today on the line on Skype, we have directors of X-Ray and Vav, Lindsay Jones and Jordan Cwierz. I've been saying Lindsay and Jordan.
It's a hashtag. I'm sorry, where this needs to start.
That's a
that's absolutely the hashtag now.
Done
Lindsay
done
Jordan.
and done. It's good to see you guys.
Good to see you too. Thanks for having us.
And it was wonderful hooking up with you at RTX 2015.
That may not be the best turn of phrase to use.
I mean,
I'm full of them today.
Let's be honest.
We're just getting started.
You're always full of it, Mark.
Got pretty sensual in that interview.
So the show today is going to be about episodes 1 through 5 of season 2 of X-Ray and Vav. But before we get started with that, we're going to talk a little bit on the production side of season 1 and getting into the production of season 2. The first question that I wanted to ask is, season 1 was about building the world. We got to meet X-Ray and Vav and see what they're like in this world. What was the first thing you wanted to explore now that everything was established?
Ooh, well, I mean, we kind of got into it a little bit with this season already, but kind of the relationship with X-Ray and Vav. I know we already established in the first season that they were friends. We haven't really done an origin story, but now we're kind of getting into the nitty-gritty of what their relationship is like, what their dynamics like, and how that affects their superhero prowess.
That's a good word.
We also wanted to introduce Mogar.
Yeah. How do we say that?
Yeah, we needed an excuse for Mogar to happen.
How long into season 1 did you want Mogar to show up?
The first 35 seconds, evidently.
Season 1, but we knew everyone would be clamoring for him in season 2. So the plan was to get him on screen as soon as possible.
Yeah.
That's why he appears like 30 seconds in the show.
Yeah, mission accomplished.
Yeah.
That's why we even named the first episode Dawn of Mogar. We're like, why even bother? Just,
It was in the trailer, for goodness sakes.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted him, so.
So the production cycle has been an interesting one. How long does it take for each episode to create, from writing to voicing to the actual animation? How long does one episode traditionally take?
It kind of varies. I mean, a lot of our schedules are very frantic, especially since a lot of us wear different hats. We're in different departments doing things. But for us writing, I don't know, what would you say, a few weeks per script? Maybe less.
It's odd because it's never a linear episode by episode case. But depending, let's take episode 1 for example. I mean, it maybe took us 3 or 4 days to write, and then scheduling everyone else to record maybe another 2 or 3 days, and then animation. Animation right now has been taking about 2 weeks, so probably like a good solid, almost a month. And then there's cleanup and sound effects and music as well. A lot of that stuff happens overlapping each other. So maybe 3 weeks to a month per episode, probably.
And we do like to have a sit down and have a table read with all the other actors. It just kind of helps them get back into character. And, it's great behind the scenes material, us recording, especially now with Jessica DeChico joining us in cast, and she was in-house for RTX. So, that's part of the process, too, is making sure we have all our behind the scenes stuff covered, too.
No, fair enough. So, and speaking about that specifically, about some of the characters that you have in the voiceover, what interests me about a lot of the Rooster Teeth personalities is they're very fast. All of you guys have a great energy and whatnot. I know you guys take a solid 2 weeks to write the episode. How much of that improv in the booth ends up making the episodes?
I feel like a decent amount. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes we'll tell them ad-lib here, and then.
It's my kind of writing style. You're like, say some things. I'm sure you got it, Lindsay. I'm sure. Yeah.
Insert funny X-ray line.
We'll take a lot of input from Gavin as well for like, what's a good British way of saying this? You know?
Insert Britishism here.
British or
Yeah.
something.
Well, obviously, like Vav and X-Ray aren't actually supposed to be Gavin and Ray, but it'd be kind of stupid of us as writers to not take some of their advice and their direction with what they do with lines, and sometimes it's funnier than what we expected them to say. So we're like, oh, that works, that's hilarious.
For sure.
Sometimes we'll have a line in mind of like, this is a perfect line for Ray. Like I can picture Ray saying this.
Yeah.
So sometimes that's how we'll write those lines.
It's really fun to do that writing too, and in our heads or even out loud, we'll have to say it as those people. So we'll have scenes with X-Ray and Vav where we're like, oh, what are you doing, boy? It's like, oh God, idiot.
I think the first incident of that was in episode 1 when X-Ray goes, stupid teacup.
Jacking my swag.
Jacking my swag.
We said that so often.
That's just a perfect Ray line. So
we're gonna get into the actual recap of the top of season 1. Do you have a question from Twitter?
I'm going to grab a question off of Twitter,
Bring it on.
actually. And if you are watching the live stream, tweet us at ABTVXRayVav. It's kind of a long hashtag, so you got to be judicious with your characters. But we have a question from Jake Rubeasley on Twitter. Most characters are based off Achievement Hunter videos, but do you have plans for more original characters?
Well, we had a bunch of characters already that we had in mind, even for this season, that we really didn't get a chance to touch on, and especially in season 1, that's one of the reasons Mogar isn't there. We had 4 episodes to quickly tell this story, and it was a pilot season, but now again we get to expand on that. So already we brought in original characters. Ash was a character of Jordan's original creation, then we both came together and worked on her, and now she's one of the fan favorites. So yeah, we have some in the bank.
I love our original characters. I love Hilda and I love Rusty.
Hilda's great.
Rusty's probably one of my favorite characters in the show. He's the wild card. So yeah, we like to balance it out. So for usually with every Achievement Hunter character, there might be an original character that pops up. Just to tip the scales, but I feel like everyone serves their purpose too, so it's not just creating characters for nothing. Yeah,
and luckily, even people who aren't very familiar with Achievement Hunter lore have said they can relate to the characters because we're so heavily based on tropes, and we're, hitting those 90s Saturday morning cartoon tropes that they say, oh, okay, that's the main villain, that's his nemesis or his helper, Yeah.
Everyone fits well into some sort of archetype that we can then expand on and make their own character, even if you don't know what Mogar is all about from watching Achievement Hunter.
And yet you take those tropes and still kind of flip them a little bit so that they can maintain freshness and newness. And it's a wonderful thing to see from the writer's chair. So thank you for that aspect of the show as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Can I jump in with one more question?
Bring it on.
So one of my favorite things about doing, having conversations with you guys through the Ruby stuff and all of the Rooster Teeth stuff is we get a kind of behind the Rooster Teeth curtain, if you will. Like, what interests me is you guys produce a lot of content, right? So you're coming off of season 1. What metric or what was the barometer of saying, hey, we're going to move into a season 2? Like, what did that look like? Obviously, it was a success. We all loved it. The community loves it, obviously. But, like, what was the point where you guys were like, all right, we're on to something? Like, is there something that you look at? Is there a metric there? Or is it just kind of a gut feeling?
I feel like it's gut for me, but that's just based on audience reaction. For me, is whenever the first couple episodes came out for season 1 and people were ecstatic about it and wanting the next few episodes, I said, oh, wow, this isn't just going to be a little thing that Jordan and I worked on. This is actually going to be a popular show.
Yeah, for me, it's always like, how do you top what you did before, And I felt like we could do something more with more episodes. So getting a season 2 was like, okay, let's top the crap out of season 1, and I feel like we've done that.
Yeah, our slogan for this season was bigger and better.
Yeah.
So that's what we tried to do.
Off to a great start.
I think you've succeeded.
Yeah.
Definitely achieved that.
Good.
So with the recap, the dawn of Mogar, as you mentioned, why even bury the lead? Mogar hits the city and becomes sort of a new hero for the town to admire. X-Ray and Vav, our beloved entrenched heroes, can't believe they're being shown up by this bizarre bear man with a diamond sword. I don't even how he found a way to mine
Minecraft.
Well, yes, but how he found a way to mine diamond.
That is a mystery.
Right. He's so strong, he crushed it with his hand and his sword formed.
And you know what? I believe it.
Later, he has glowing blood. The dude's obviously magic. At that point, you just buy whatever.
That's a great point.
BT Dubs magic. That is Mogar.
No, seriously, because magic. Done.
The entire universe of X-Ray and Vav actually takes place in Magic the Gathering. We're doing.
Explains so much.
Bless. Can I say, looking at the credits, the whiner is voiced by Miles. I just about cried. I was laughing so hard when I found that out.
It's a pretty fun parallel to some of his other characters, I'll tell you what.
Miles and Patrick Rodriguez have been doing a lot of our voices for the show, and it's funny how many times people say, "Oh, I had no idea that was them." We're like, "Yeah, that's their 6th, 7th character they're voicing this season."
Yeah, Miles was so good because I think we told him record for this character. He thought it was an audition. So when we told him, yeah, this was great, it's gonna look great in the show, he goes, "Oh, was this for real?" I just messed around, and like it was perfect because he went in there and did a dumb villain voice and like, yeah, this works. This is perfect.
It's perfectly natural.
Yeah.
It's hard getting over the whiner just because as the first villain that we see, we're like, are they? Is this a discount Waluigi? But
Stakes
it
could not possibly be lower.
I'm gonna spill.
The Waluigi reference. That was one of the characters we gave to Patrick for the reference art. We're like, this is something we're modeling him after. So
there was definitely a mention of, does he look too much like Waluigi? Which we were like,
can one look too much like Waluigi is a question.
Right?
Yes.
I mean,
one can look like Waluigi, and that is looking too much like Waluigi.
fair enough. Fair enough.
Poor guy. It must be hard for him to get a date. So
Waluigi or the whiner?
a little bit of both. A little bit of column A, a little bit of column
I'd
B.
go out with either of
why
those
do you think
two.
he's a whiner?
Exactly. What kind of a man can you be with boxed wine? Like juice boxes of wine.
He failed his sommelier exam. That's his tragic backstory. He failed his
slapped the
sommelier.
bag by himself.
he's not even a good villain. He thought ruining everyone's clothes would be like the ultimate evil plan.
I don't know.
You know who he
It's
was
a
hired
bummer.
by? The evil dry cleaning conglomerate.
Oh yeah,
You
big
bastard.
dry cleaning. Yep.
Big dry
cleaning.
Thank you
They're the
again for
worst.
bringing that to light
They're the
in such a
worst.
medium. We don't see it enough.
No problem. Yeah.
Agreed. Always tackling the hard-hitting issues at Rooster Teeth. I appreciate that about you guys.
If he shows up again, we'll give Gavin like Tide gloves.
Yes!
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Tide sticks and just toss them at him. The main crux of this episode is we got to see Mogar's strength. Not only does he power out of X-Ray's beam, but he can muscle his way through Vav's slow-mo. And this guy is somebody that, as we learn throughout as the season goes on, not somebody to be taken lightly. We have not seen whether or not he is a hero or a villain.
Mogar is a hit it till it dies kind of guy, and I really appreciate that, honestly.
Oh, I know that game.
Right there in the Tinder profile. Right there. Yep. Right. He's shirtless with a tiger. I like it.
What?
We went 80s there. I got it.
Yeah. Thank you. That's what I love about Lindsay. She gets me.
Patrick gave us a little bit of glimpse into his
It
personal
was
life.
just
Right.
too much.
With episode 2, we got a chance to see Hilda again, and now that the monarch has been overthrown, she is the new CEO. She has no time to really invent anymore. And I mean, I don't know who's running the board of directors there.
Well,
She's
and
like-
here's the fun thing: if you kind of step back and you have to look at episode 5 and see how much it reframes everything. Because I keep thinking of Darkwing Duck, and they have that one mafia boss who's in prison, but he's still very much running his business with absolutely no break in the operation. I have
The
to wonder
Darkwing
how
Duck
much
reference.
that's the Mad King.
There, that's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Whether or not Hild was promoted so that she wouldn't have the time to come up with new tech for the guys. So that's a way of keeping them down. And then, playing mind games, all that fun stuff. We'll talk about that more when we get to episode 5, but I have to wonder how much of this is very much conspiracy theory. Mad King has his fingers in everything.
And I have to say, watching Skype as you were saying that was a very fun, very fun thing to witness. Watching our wonderful guests react. So
This is why I like throwing dumb things at the wall when we have guests. The facial expressions are beautiful.
Just raise some eyebrows, give some winks.
then you can do it at times where it makes sense, times where it doesn't, and then we'll never know the difference.
Wink, wink.
We also got a reintroduction. We saw him a little bit in the first episode. Dragonface, fun reference. Poor Carrie. But the Hilda throws out. Has Orf throw out a lot of her inventions that aren't working, which includes a reality altering journal, which allows Dragonface to change X-Ray and Vav into his best friends and join the fight and become a hero himself.
Bless this episode.
I was actually going to ask.
Oh no, I was rooting for the 5-year-old that looked like a reject Powerpuff Girl. Are you kidding me?
Yep.
Princess Morbucks. I was going to ask, how much of this episode did you find on Tumblr before writing a draft?
I think it was just
just the slash.
Passion of a Thousand Suns. Come on.
Casual exposure to fanfic and slash fiction, and how we interpret it.
Yeah. Jordan and I are avid Tumblrers, I guess. Is that the word?
Yep.
The proper nomenclature?
Tumblrinas.
Good enough.
We're Tumblrinas, as you will.
Beautiful.
But yeah, we've interacted with a lot of fans who write fan fiction, and we read several, and a lot of them are very good. So we kind of again wanted to play on those tropes because obviously the whole show is about tropes.
Yeah, we just wanted to make a really bad one.
Yeah, exactly. So we were pleasantly surprised that a lot of the people who do write fan fiction said, "Oh my gosh, like you nailed it! You nailed all the jokes about what the stereotypes are for fanfic writing."
Yep.
What I like
Pretty
is,
much.
Exploring Dragonface's terrible writing style of, and then this happened, and then this happened, but then this happened.
Yeah.
It's just constantly him saying, suddenly Dragonface did this.
I did see
He
a lot of
said
people
Britishly.
messaging Jordan and I like, "Oh my gosh, I've written so many lines like that," where it's like, "And then this occurred."
Yeah.
It's like, "Oh no."
It's just
And suddenly a shot rang out.
And I really love the line too when they snap out of it. And he's like, "Why does my mouth taste like bad dialogue?"
That was so great.
Might have been my best line in the episode.
to call out Dragonface has no creative writing skills.
No, he's terrible.
Even Hilda at one point said, "You're gonna overload the machine with your mediocre storytelling."
He's in middle school. He'll get better, right?
Yeah, he just needs to practice more.
Yeah.
He's a tiny little middle schooler. So why do they have a restraining order on him? What's the backstory there?
Good question.
Been too much of an obsessive fan. We
Yeah.
haven't really shown it, obviously, or talked about it.
Yeah. He goes up to them and smells them.
Yeah.
You
And he
did
tries to
Pretty
steal
creepy.
locks of their hair.
Yeah.
So we know that alone. So what else has he done that we haven't seen? I'm sure he's followed them home to the X-Ray and Vav lair and stuff like
probably,
that.
yeah.
Stolen their clothes.
Fun fact: Dragonface has been in every other episode, but since he's got a restraining order, you don't see him. He's on.
It's an Easter egg.
Did the camera get a restraining order? I mean,
Yeah. It was looking too much.
So with the end of this episode, we see Dragonface destroy the book and kind of save the day in his own right. But we hear the little girl cry out, "My OTP." Of course,
I love
one true
it.
pairing.
I love it. I was
Who is your
happy.
X-Ray and Vav OTP?
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh.
Hilda and Teapot. Or Teacup.
Teacup.
Yeah, right.
Teacup.
Teacup, yeah. Or the Teapot.
Yeah, what's
maybe they
really-
made the cup together.
I think a really weird one.
Yeah. Rusty and Box.
Yeah, Rusty and Orf.
Yeah.
What's their friendship like? What do they talk about?
I want to know what their ship name is. It has something to do with Rusty Machinery.
Maybe, yeah.
Rusty Wheel.
Ball bearings.
We've
It's not bad.
Hey.
we've got a Hilgar going through live chat. Yep, there we go. From K Blitz, just out there, Hilgar. So
Oh. Yeah, I can. Yep.
Oh?
Yep.
Oh?
Little bit of crossover with real life. I can see that.
popping it. All right.
Yeah.
Episode 3, my dinner with Ash. Ash is we didn't really properly introduce her. She is an intrepid reporter who is beyond interested in the Mogar story, who has been going to Vav for accounts. Vav's kind of fallen in love, and this is really their first nice date.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
But Vav, being the nerve pot that he is, has X-Ray on the comms as a way to help him and talk him through the date. What were your favorite parts
Because
of the
that's
date?
not a ball and chain.
Yeah. Right. It always works. Every time people do that.
I have to say, I'm not super fond of X-Ray as a character. He's the kind of guy where I would cross to the other side of the street if I saw him coming. No, it is,
Understandable.
as a woman, creeper alarms. Nothing but. So, just watching this is like, oh, this is going to go super well.
I kind of love the sneezing under the table, the chronic
Like,
sneezing.
excuse me, I have to sneeze.
Do you have a tissue?
Excuse-
I have a tissue.
paragraph.
Still sneezing.
She's just so polite, she can't help it. She's like, it's fine. I'll let you
Yep.
finish your 6-hour sneeze.
That was my favorite part about the scene is Ash going, oh, he's from another country, so I'll just play it off. I'll just continue as I would.
He's from here.
He's not from here.
British sneezes. All right.
What
They're more polite.
what does drink taste like? That's something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's dead silence.
It's a brand of water.
Yeah, I feel like it's like air.
Oh.
There's actually nothing in it. It's just emptiness.
Because for some reason, my knee-jerk reaction was like Calpico.
Ooh, yeah, that's fancy. I like that. Maybe some Perrier.
Yeah, it's sparkling water.
Yeah.
It's British Perrier. It's his drink.
Yeah.
Right.
Drink.
Mogar ends up entering the restaurant. Who did he beat up to get that tie, by the way? Did he go into a store? Or?
Probably.
Neck
Yeah.
trap.
We realized, like, just before the episode came out, that we made, like, the same, they're wearing a tie gag, but I thought it was funny still. It's like,
Michael's
someone
character's
in a
in
tie,
neck
and it's
traps.
hilarious.
I like to believe he crafted one like in the woods before going in. He tried really, really hard, and that was the best he could do.
Or he, like, went into, like, a suit store and was like, Mogar needs to look nice. Make it happen.
But he doesn't want to wear a shirt.
Yeah,
Just
no,
a tie.
shirt.
Mom tied it for him before she disappeared, and he's never untied it and just slips it on fancy occasion.
Yeah,
My
there you
God.
go.
That's
That's the tie.
It's an heirloom now.
Yep.
That's
Yeah,
the-
exactly.
That's the best way to handle a tie. If you don't know how to tie a tie, just keep it tied and slip it on and off.
That's what I
I
do.
do.
It's an old trick. X-Ray I keep going Ray instead of X-Ray. X-Ray thinks that Mogar is there to attack the boys, but in talking with Ash and seeing him watching the waiter, Mogar is on the hunt for someone for some reason to find something. Best storytelling ever.
Can
and
we talk about the overtly creepy waiter?
the licking the knife
It's
and
to
the
die for.
When X-Ray was being creepy, I was like, at least he's not as creepy as the
Yeah.
waiter.
Fair.
The waiter's extra creepy.
I love that he called it out though. It's like that looks sanitary. Like those lick.
That's unsanitary.
Exactly what was going through my mind.
Working in a restaurant.
Right? Everyone can see you.
Yeah,
He's
Tom, you
like
can
ducking under the table or
You
something.
you can see their health grade going down, right? Like
Well, I
just
think it's-
spinning in the background.
Mogar secretly a health inspector
totally.
going,
Mogar fail.
Mogar has side job.
I mean, you got to feed a bird somehow.
That's true.
You know, when it turns out that the waiter's just, he's not a bad guy, he's just a weirdo. It's like, what's he like every other day?
Right? Why did we hire him?
Yeah.
Drink's not even on the menu. Like, where did that come from? I don't know.
He went out of his way.
There
Yeah.
would be like a side story of like the waiter chronicles, what his day to day is like.
I want it. And then he goes home and, carves in his diary.
You know
no
that-
one understands me.
You know, dude hangs out with Weiner.
Probably.
yeah.
Definitely.
They're probably best friends.
Probably like
Yeah.
step brothers or something.
100%.
They probably
Yeah.
They hang out on like PlayStation Live together.
Absolutely. No camping, bro.
They're in playroom.
It's a legitimate strategy.
The-
Weiner's camping.
Terrible.
I'm sure.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
That was yes. So, brain. 5 episodes is a lot. Mogar ends up getting stabbed in a fight with the head chef. Wonderful Adam cameo. And we find out that
chef in the Italian restaurant.
yeah, like
great.
why
He had to
Russian
make a
dude.
living somehow.
Everybody's got a fun side job. We find out that Mogar has glowing blood for some reason.
Magic.
Yep, that's right.
Magic
That's
Daddy.
right. We decided it was magic.
The wizard did it.
Yep.
As of now, it's been.
He's a level 50 wizard.
Only they can wield such a diamond sword.
Exactly.
We see X-Ray and Vav starting to fight a little bit more about whether it was Mogar's fault, whether it was the chef, or whether the chef was the bad guy. But Ash ends up bringing them to kind of come to peace, and we find out that Ash knows a guy that can help them find out more about Mogar. Wonderful end of the episode leading into Flint Cole. What's up?
Well, talking a little more about the fight and about the motivations behind it, Vav actually does. He is doing the hero for justice thing, such as it is. And we've known from episode 1 that X-Ray is very, very much motivated by his ego. He doesn't want to go after Mogar because it might be the right thing or because something might be happening. He's going after Mogar because Mogar is a bad mark on his reputation.
Hey, stealing the thunder.
Yeah.
Ash's very quick pen and somewhat hilariously teleportable 1920s newsboy. Where the hell did that come from?
love that kid.
That guy.
Is
I love that
wonderful.
guy.
It's a classic gag.
Wonderful.
So
Where the
funny.
hell did that come from?
I feel like she hired a few just to like walk around every
Definitely.
minute.
Yeah.
Like
A fan-
quadruplets.
Just texting
Yeah.
him under the table. Extra,
Yeah,
extra.
go.
Yeah.
Now it's your cue.
They're just carrying fake newspapers. Doesn't even matter.
Doesn't even have the right story on it. Just X's and Y's like in Punch Out.
One of them is Christian Bale, you know?
Yep.
That was good.
Thank you for that. I understood that reference. But yeah, we know from the beginning that they have very different motivations for doing this. And I'd say that comes to a pretty good head in this fight, and that Vav wants to find out what's actually going on, and X-Ray just sees it as an opportunity to take down Mogar because he made me look bad. Obviously, he's the bad guy because he made me look bad.
Right.
And we get reasons for X-Ray acting the way he does, but that's not an excuse.
We're still halfway through the season. It's bringing to light everybody's sort of motivations and everybody's character arc and tropes. And we're definitely at the very tippy top before we start to go into the inner sanctum of villainy, which is a total technical term when it comes to film. But the wonderful part about the scripts, and I'm not just saying that because you're here, is that we get shown all of this childishness of X-Ray to be like, well, then you get on Vav's side because he's actually trying, and that leaves an opportunity for X-Ray to try to grow up a little bit more. And I'm excited to see where that takes us, especially after he gets broken down, cut down by the Mad King.
Yes, I know, and we kind of touched on it a little bit, but one thing that you kind of get from episode 3 with Ash and the Vav connection now too is like, Ash basically, for Vav, redefined what a superhero is. I know they have that whole discussion about why she wanted to be a reporter, and she says, I'm helping people, and I feel like I'm doing the right thing by, I'm not physically fighting crime, but I'm still informing people. Sure. And for Vav, that's something he's never really thought about before. So that kind of plays into him being like, oh, well, maybe I'm looking at this Mogar thing from the wrong perspective. Yeah. And, that's also kind of, making him think a little bit differently from what he usually thinks when he's with X-Ray.
Now, how much is it and how much is it testosterone-ally driven? Like, I like Ash, like, Mogar's good for her paper, like, I should keep him around.
There. Yeah, I think Ash could have said anything and Val would be like, yeah.
100%. That was my read, like,
Sweatily nodded.
Yeah.
Britishly nodded.
Right.
Britishly, sweatily nodded. Can sweat be British?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Vav and X-Ray definitely have some ego clash in this season going on.
That's good for growth.
It's very good for growth, and we see it a little bit more, and we see a little bit more of X-Ray's sort of just wanting to get everything done when we meet Flint Cole. We were introduced to him with a black and white noir setting. He has an inner monologue. Absolute madness. Now, when bringing such a revered character like Flint Cole to the screen, did you always have Colton Dunn in mind?
Pretty much. I mean, we discussed other people, but at a certain stage, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, by the time we were writing that Flint Cole was going to be around, I mean, Colton Dunn was a pretty easy choice. Colton had been around already, shooting a laser team, so he'd been in our mind, and boy, did he nailed the role too.
Really did, like, destroyed.
God, yes.
That kind of begs the question a little bit, and I just have to put you on the spot and ask about any sort of potential laser team crossover.
On the spot's a different show.
I mean, it is a different show. I am very interested, though, either way. Are they going to make an appearance? Are we going to see X-Ray and Vav at some point in laser team? Talk to me.
It'd be pretty great if they just had a moment where they, like, saw each other and were like, oh,
yep.
All right.
Sup?
What's up?
Like, that's it. That's all that happened.
Like, this is
You
our
do
city.
you.
That's okay. We're going to go save the planet.
Who are those other leotarded guys?
Yeah. Bigger problems.
It's like a Scooby-Doo meets the Harlem Globetrotters. They just come in for a second. Super wacky, like 60s style animation. But Flint Cole is a man who knows his city, as he states. When he ends up meeting X-Ray and Vav, he sort of starts to show them the ropes, and throughout their investigation we see that Vav is starting to be a little bit more, he's questioning everything more, and he's putting things together more, whereas X-Ray is just more, just get it done, just let's find the thing, I'll beat up whoever's in the way, and we saw that on the docks when he got punched in the face.
Did he talk? His fist did.
They left you a little beautiful relationship. And when the name Architects Secret Society was announced, I had initially thought, oh, Architects, that's a reference to team building exercise. And then I went, no, it's just an anagram for ass. And which
She nods vigorously. Uh-huh.
So I was like, oh, we're gonna see a really short dude in a robe, but no, it's just a fun ass joke.
It is a fun ass joke.
The whole scene is an ass joke.
It was really just a plan for a secret society. But
it was like something on like Freemasons or stonecutters from The Simpsons. Architects.
Who keeps the metric system down?
We do.
It wasn't until we saw the storyboards and Lauren, our storyboard artist, wrote like the logo just ASS, and I was like, oh yeah, that's totally an acronym for ass. We're geniuses.
Something that happens a lot where we don't. I guess our subconscious just writes the joke,
Yeah,
and we're like, oh yeah, that's way funnier than what we thought.
I put that as my high score in every video game of all time, right? Like it's just
Ass.
obligatory. Yeah,
Everyone does.
right. No, exactly.
Look at this ass in first place.
100%.
And that way, when you win, you can say you kicked his ass.
Boom!
Wow, that was.
We do a lot.
Yeah.
I'm used to Megan going boom. So
No.
I like this. I like this.
Yeah.
Quick, it's to the
right.
point. Nailed it.
We're Team Katie.
I have a team.
For every reason whatsoever, Rusty is a member of ASS. We find out
Well,
that
yeah.
All of the reasons. Yeah, no.
Free food,
Why wouldn't
and then
he be?
orgies, and then also free food.
It's about to get
Before and
real weird.
About to get.
we
Do you
know
know what show you're watching?
I know. I just love that.
we find out that he and Flint have a relationship, and there was something that happened physically or otherwise.
So many sex puns getting there.
More ass.
So
Yeah,
many sex
more
puns.
exactly.
That's everywhere.
We were so.
There was a more ass of backstory.
If you try to leave, ass will find you and bring you back in.
Truer words, Lindsay. True words.
And it's a disaster.
So we leave.
Stop. Okay, now with the boo.
No.
Okay,
No.
All right, just.
You
I'm looking for
encouraged
you.
I know, I'm
looking
trying
for
to-
you.
put this
I know,
on.
this is
I'm
true.
trying to-
I take responsibility.
It's fun.
It's too much fun to talk about asses. So Rusty ends up here, like always, the guy with the right thing to know. He heard about a trail of blood, of crazy blood leading into the forest, and so we leave the inner sanctum of Ass to find the treehouse.
Just. Inner sanctum of. I don't know.
They were deep inside of Ass,
know,
and they had to
I
get
know.
out somehow.
I know.
They were they,
Infiltrated ass.
The inner sanctum of ass.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
my best steel cover band.
they're the inner workings of Ass.
People can think.
They find Mogar's treehouse. Just let that.
She's dying. We've lost her.
Keep going.
She's dying.
I'll laugh
We're
it
sinking
out.
into Ass.
Clear.
They find the trail of blood. It leads to Mogar's treehouse. They find him sleeping, standing up in his journal.
Because he's Mogar. Of course he's sleeping.
He's gotta be ready.
Yeah, for sure.
Super ready. They find out that Mogar is searching for his mother. That she's been gone for a month. He's losing strength, especially now that he's gotten stabbed and he's bleeding. But that's about it. And it's like, he's looking for his mother.
Magic.
Yeah, his mother magic.
Yeah.
It's Grandmother Willow from Pocahontas.
Oh my God.
Can you imagine how hard it would be to steal a tree? Just a whole thing uprooted? I mean, dang.
They could find a way.
No, they should leave it alone.
Season 2, Mogar could do it, maybe.
Maybe at the beginning before he starts losing his strength.
Yeah.
They also find a letter from the mental institution. And they're like, why would he have these letters? Very, very interesting.
Why would a mental institution let anyone send a letter out to... Okay.
Because of magic.
Let that guy send a letter out
Just addressed
to...
it to Mogar's treehouse, and
Yeah,
the mailman
that's it.
found it.
Oh, it's right here.
It's like
Here you go.
X-Ray and Vav couldn't find it, but the mailman was like, oh yeah,
Yeah, I got it.
I know exactly where that's at.
I want a side
Well,
story
he
about
was
that
writing to other
mailman.
people. It's like, I guess we could do that. He has like a series of pen pals around the city that the Mad King writes to. You're like, oh.
Some guy on a motorbike.
The
Yeah.
mailman is part of the Mad King's network.
So he's not a member of
the
ASS.
Postal Service.
No.
Yeah, he doesn't have his fingers in ass.
No, he's under
Nope.
the employ of the
Mad King
Mad
doesn't-
He's under the employment of the
just-
Mad King and the federal government, which is worse.
I can't.
Hey, they started it and we're finishing it.
You're damn- that shit is the AfterBuzz motto, right?
yeah.
Right?
They started it and we're finishing
We're gonna
it.
finish it.
On the tail end of all those ass jokes.
Speaking of tailing, Ash has been tailing him. Starts taking pictures of the whole thing.
Right.
Mogar gets waken up by X-Ray. Who else? For some reason, an oil lamp. I wonder where Mogar gets the oil. Gets knocked down.
That's
Tree.
Magic.
He fought a whale.
Amazon
No,
delivers.
they fought a whale. You know what? I 100% believe that.
Yeah. That seems plausible.
Magic.
Checks out, Lindsay.
And
Checks
he
out.
just threw it.
Yep.
Just
Yeah,
like there's
out.
just a thing that connects to the whale where just the fat is just coming up.
I thought it was on sale on Amazon
He just like
Prime.
rings it like a sponge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mogar need kill other whale. The treehouse starts to burn, and who I initially thought he was looking for, a Breagle, shows up on the windowsill and starts attacking X-Ray.
Glad you know the proper terminology.
Oh, damn right I do.
That's a total pro.
Yeah, Banjo-Kazooie, bro. Always the best. And the team escapes while Mogar flies away under the Breagle, and we find out that it's the Mad King that has been sending the letters to Mogar, returning from season 1.
Actually, on the Breagle, too, Patrick was saying he named it Kablooey.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah, we wanted a name that wouldn't get us sued, so we were
basically.
Was
we were,
it?
like, we were looking at the picture, and I was like, "Hey, what's something that rhymes with Kazooie?" I think it was Kyle in Machinima. It was just like Kablooey. It's like, all right, that's its name.
Done.
Yeah.
Was Kablooey ever going to talk at all during development?
I think if it did, it would be like, wow, 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 wow.
Yeah. We originally had Ray do the caw for the bird.
Oh, yeah, we did have Ray in the booth go, "Grrrr!"
Ray and
Too good.
did not work out.
I feel like I need the
We also have
blooper
a
reel
lot of
for this
lines of
show.
Ray, when he was ad-libbing pretending to be a baby, I was like, just pretend you're like a giant man
Yeah.
baby and say stuff that a baby would, but in a man tone. So he's just going, wah, I'm a baby, give me my baba, wah.
We see a lot of bloopers from Red vs. Blue of line reads. Are we going to see anything similar for X-Ray and Vav?
We have a ton, so I
Yeah,
hope so.
we have a lot.
It's easy to go ahead and machinimate those bloopers, but it's a little extra work to animate them. So we're going to
Definitely.
figure out a way to get bloopers on the DVD.
I'd just be there for the audio track.
Our sound guy Clayton actually has a big file full of outtakes of actors, so he'll play it every now and then. Like a popular one is every time Ray messes up, he goes, "Oh, Ray, you fucking idiot!"
So getting into the part 1 of season 2 finale, the mid-season finale, because my brain is dumb. The Madness of the King. We get a wonderful Hannibal-esque episode where the Mad King breaks down bit by bit both X-Ray and Vav.
I just want to hear Ryan deliver the fava beans and a nice Chianti voice
And a little
line.
with it. Yeah.
Yes, that. I want that.
And man, the Mad King can monologue.
Oh my God,
It
yes.
definitely comes with the territory.
It's just the Mad King talk episode. It's like, Ryan, just say stuff.
Well, he's the Xanatos behind all of this. He's the one with the plan. It's
a good call.
Come on.
Yeah.
It's a good call.
He's the one with
she
the
does.
master plan. And it's very obvious.
Jordan had watched a lot of Silence of the Lambs. I mean, I have too, but Jordan is a big fan, so he actually did a lot of the detailed dialogue work and really played off of that perfectly.
Yeah, I think we started there with that in my mind, very classy masturbation joke from the Mad
Yeah,
King.
The classiest.
definitely picked
It was
that
well
one.
done, yeah.
It was the classiest.
Masturbation.
Yeah,
Oh, I like that. Yep.
that was originally
Katie
like,
just
that was
coined
where
a
we
phrase.
started. It was like, well, let's make this whole episode like Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah,
So,
and then we just like snowballed with it.
yeah, until we got to the part where it's like, very meticulously picking apart and breaking down X-Ray.
Yeah, my favorite part is still when the Mad King leans on the glass for the first time. He's like, "Yes, go on,"
Yeah.
and like breathes on it a little bit.
Yeah, I noticed that watching it again. It's just like, oh, wow, yeah, he is that close. That's real creepy.
I noticed that both of them broke the rules because we had a very, very cut and dry is not the phrase I'm looking for.
Straightforward?
Layout. Straightforward's a good one.
Yes.
Of just laying out these rules. Don't answer any questions. Don't take anything from him. Just, stay in control of the conversation.
Maybe if they'd gone together, they could have kept each other in check.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I think it would have been more in terms of Vav keeping X-Ray in check.
That's true.
Because all it took was one, oh, you're not smart enough for him to just,
Well, I mean,
like fish
he's
in a
not as immune
barrel.
to psychological manipulation as he thinks he is, I guess.
Yeah, right.
It's like fish in a barrel. It really is.
It's too easy for the Mad
He
King.
thought his brain was too small to be manipulated, but it wasn't.
I will say that
that a
I love
compliment?
that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
The pet rock's name is
Dwayne.
Dwayne.
How did you know about Dwayne?
Yeah.
That was a stupid joke that I asked Jordan if we could do before we started the season,
Yeah.
and he said sure.
One of
and,
the original characters we wrote on the board, Dwayne the Rock.
Dwayne the Rock, OC, do not steal.
Yeah.
Still waiting to hear back to see if Mr. Johnson wants to voice the character, but we'll
Yeah.
see.
He's
Guys,
really open.
Twitter campaign.
Yeah.
Twitter campaign.
Yeah.
That's like
You
our
should
dream
be
of
kidding. The
dreams.
fans would do
Yeah.
it.
Season 3, new hero.
They build him a mechanical body and it's
That'd
voiced
be
by The
amazing.
Rock.
Oh my god.
As long as
Or
Vav
he
can
just
show
got, like
up.
rock buddies to make his body for him.
Yes.
As long as Vav shows up on Ballers, like this is, I mean, like I feel like we need some cross promotion here at some point, right? Let's make this happen.
In costume.
Yeah, oh for
In
sure.
costume.
Yeah,
Yes.
gotta make money to spend money.
And speaking of the boys going in alone, though, the real Miss K Rose on Twitter wanted to know the boys are pretty stupid,
Well, yeah.
but how
Morons, as we call them.
Yeah.
what made them want to go into the room alone?
X-Ray kind of touches on it. He kind of feels like, especially after the last episode, that Vav and Ash are kind of like getting in the way a little bit, especially Ash. So when X-Ray says, "I'm taking charge of this mess," he kind of thinks he can solve this case on his own.
Yeah, and we kind of get a little
You know
bit.
he can't though.
We get a little bit afterwards with Vav, where he kind of says, you know, detail work isn't X-Ray's forte, and it's not something he's interested in. So his mentality of going to talk to the Mad King is like, X-Ray would be bored out of his mind and not paying attention. I can actually, you know, sit down and get an answer that I need.
True.
True. And
For
this
the most
was
part too. Vav gets what he came there for.
Yep.
He probably likes to think because he's so smart, but I think we all know it's because the Mad King wanted him to leave with what he got.
He broke the rules. He took an item from the Mad King.
took a lot of items from the Mad King.
Yeah, took a whole box.
And it made X-Ray so mad.
What's in the box?
What's in the box?
I was on Mogo's mom's head. Jeez.
But yeah, no, wrong horror movie.
Sorry, I got my movies crossed. So this was a last way for the Mad King to at least sow that last bit of dissension
Yeah.
between the two of them, and we find out his master plan is he wants to use Mogar to destroy X-Ray and Vav to get back at them for everything that he did to him in season 1. And Mad King gets broken out of prison, or gets out of the mental institution, and I believe we had a question on Tumblr.
He Mjolnired that thing.
Yeah.
Holy cow!
So is that
How?
telekinesis?
Why?
Magnetism?
I think in episode 2 of season 1, that's kind of his thing, where like he throws the crown and somehow it always comes back to
Like
him.
boomerang back to him.
Yeah.
We had kind of obviously the Magneto connection is there too.
Yeah.
So wanted to play
Oh,
off
the-
that a little bit.
He needs some power. That's not just him monologuing. So,
Yeah.
I know that's pretty
smart
smart.
power.
That's pretty
Monologuing is a
good.
really
I
good
mean-
superpower.
Like,
but
you know-
it's just the crown, though.
I like to believe that his brain is so intelligent and huge that he has somewhat of telekinesis going on, that he can like manipulate objects. We won't get into that, but that's what I like to believe.
That's your head cannon.
Yeah. That's my OTP. Is Mad King Crown.
Mad Crown.
Yeah.
Before we close, too,
Crown.
speaking of
That's the
superpowers,
hashtag, Mad Crown.
I like
Mad
it.
Crown.
I like it. Speaking of, before we close out here, I know we're running a little lean on time, but Mark had an opportunity to connect with you guys at RTX, and I just had to say this, Lindsay, before we go. I think Mark asked you a question. You can find it on the AfterBuzz YouTube channel. He asked
plug.
you. What's that?
Nice plug.
Yeah, no, that's what we do. It's a great interview, but one of the things that stuck with me, Lindsay, is he asked you what superhero power that you would have. You could have any, and you said without missing a beat, that you
Exactly.
could look at somebody and have them shit themselves on command. And I have literally, I've had several terrible days since RTX, and that comes to mind. I just would Lindsay them, and then like literally, it makes every situation better. So even though that superpower is not a reality, I've channeled that like, oh yeah, I could just imagine that they're, defecating themselves.
You're changing people's lives.
I mean,
God,
that's
it's a
what you
verb.
do.
And their pants.
Yep.
It's a verb.
Son of
Yep.
a bitch.
Yep.
You had a terrible day. I thought it was
Because you shot yourself.
bathroom related, and you thought Lindsay was using her.
Oh,
Oh
power.
yeah, thinking of me from a distance. Lindsay.
I'm an evil villain at that point. I'm not
Wow.
there's not powers for good there.
Yeah.
So at the end of the episode, we've got the Mad King saying, "Soon everyone will get what they deserve." And
Do we need to roll into predictions here?
well, not necessarily. I wanted to get, since we are so low on time, I wanted to get I wanted to get sort of a preview from them on what we can expect from episode 6 because they can't necessarily do predictions.
I like it.
I feel like you're gonna learn some information that you would not have expected.
Here's a vague hint. What the Mad King thinks everyone deserves is probably not what everyone really deserves.
Yeah. Sky blue.
AfterBuzz exclusive.
Sky blue water
So before we wrap up on our end, we'll do minor predictions. What do you see, Katie, coming from the end of season 2 of X-Ray and Vav?
Temporary breakup of the team, obviously. Whether or not... I actually have no idea if Ash is part of this plan or not. We definitely had the sleazy boss showing some of her morality, going, I don't want to use my relationship for that. So whether or not she's working for the Mad King, could be either. Yeah, I'm kind of expecting it to follow a lot of the story beats that we've seen for this. Breakup of the team, misunderstanding, getting them back together in time to defeat the big evil, happily ever after, yet that I want more Hilda, I want more Orf.
Do you think that the Mad King will reign supreme at the end of season 2?
Oh, no.
No?
No.
All right.
You keep in mind that this is it's Rooster Teeth doing it, but it's also Saturday morning cartoons. This isn't Red versus Blue.
Fair.
No, we're gonna Game of Thrones it. Next episode, X-Ray and Vav die.
Yeah.
The Mad King sends his regards.
Coming.
Mad King and crown.
A king should have his crown. No, people are saying Mad King and Mogar. It's like, are you sure that's not the show? That's the show I'm watching. I would watch that TV program. They're villainous hijinks.
It'd be like Wacky Races. Everybody loves Muttley and Dick Dastardly.
Yes, I want Mogar to eventually say something along the lines of, you talk too much.
Patrick.
Quick predictions. I don't want Ash to be the divisive property in the relationship. I want her to join the team. I want her to be a unifying agent. I want her to have her own cape and kick ass.
Agree with that. Agree with more Orf and more Hilda. And I think she'll have enough time to come back, and there will be that one device that she makes that will make the team stronger, and maybe give a new character superpowers.
Yeah.
I would like to pass the Bechdel test.
I agree. That's a wonderful way to end the interview.
Do we pass the Bechdel test, you guys?
If you think Orf is a female, yes.
Done. I count it.
If not, then soon.
So thank you very much.
Does Hilda modify it because she's just insulting the men in her life?
Yeah,
that's entirely possible. So thank you so much for joining us, talking about X-Ray and Vav. It's always a pleasure having you guys in the studio. And
where can the people find you online?
I'm on Twitter at I am Lindsay Jones.
I have a Twitter. It's Jordan Cwierz.
I have it.
It's just my name.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much.
X-Ray and Vav on RoosterTeeth.com and YouTube.
And if you don't follow them on Twitter, you're wasting your life. You should definitely do that.
Take a long, hard look in the mirror.
Thanks again, guys. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, so we have got the first half of X-Ray and Vav Season 2 in the bag. I mean, of course, we can't do the second half until the second half airs, so we've got to deal with Strangerhood first, and then the second half of X-Ray and Vav Season 2. That's when we will be back. But until we come back, where can the folks find you on Twitter?
I'm Katie Cullen. You can find me on Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram at Kiaje. I do a bunch of shows here, including Red vs. Blue, Robots in Disguise, and Z Nation, which is going to start back up. I also write articles for The Movie Chick. That's Chick with 2 Ks.
I love it. I'm P to the D's, that's D-E-E-S, and you can find me on Pixel by Pixel on iTunes. We talk about video games.
Yes, you do. And you can find all of our RTX happenings. There's a playlist on AfterBuzz's YouTube channel. You can find me on Twitter at SoapboxMark. You can find me here at AfterBuzz doing the WWE programming. You can find me on Popcorn Talk doing Jedi Alliance and Do Games Make Good Movies with Patrick. And you can find all of us here at AfterBuzz TV, at AfterBuzz TV on Twitter and YouTube. Subscribe and follow us. Thank you for joining us on this episode of AfterBuzz TV, and we will see you next time.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.